Collectors galore. People with taste, strong aesthetics collect memorabilia. Let's find out why they do it. Is it about being a hoarder, or is it an attempt to preserve the history? Discussion.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Bakhair agele, ni hao, chunishume, washmale, ohio, guzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swavika, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning, alongside the very amazing, the very talented, the very fascinating Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking. How was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was great. I think pretty much I was at home and I was making sure that everybody whom I know, whom I love, are sticking home as well. Because, you know, since it was the weekend, so, you know, we've had this culture at our place that, you know, everybody used to gather for a Sunday breakfast together.
Right.
And so unfortunately for the last 3 or 4 weeks, because of the COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't been able to do that. But yes, we do have a deeper understanding that staying apart for now will actually bring us together again. But for people who are actually not looking after themselves and are going out, I think are at a higher risk. What do you have to say?
I think I will agree with you, while I do realize that mashallah, mashallah, since you have a big family, you guys do gather. Same with us, sort of, because not all my family members live here, but some of my sisters do, so we tend to get together every other week. We can't do that. I do miss my niece, but that's for good, ladies and gentlemen. If you are staying at home, well, kudos to you. And, well, a huge round of applause as well. You can't probably hear me because I don't have a mic here. But here's the thing. We always tell you for more than like 3 weeks now that you have to stay home for yourself, for all the people around you as well. But, well, you really have to take this seriously because the toll keeps rising over here in our country as well. Unfortunately so. And as more people are getting tested, we are getting more positive results as well. But there's nothing to panic about because the recovery rate is quite high, and if you do take care, we're all going to be safe.
Yeah.
Shahzad, I do have a question for you.
Go
You
ahead,
have, mashallah, a lovely family, we all know that. But a lot of people actually have been facing this, I don't want to say issue, but this matter at hand. So I'm going to put it to you, and then you can tell me what you're doing about it.
Sure, go ahead. What is it?
Since you, your wife, your children, your parents, all of them are at home 24/7 now, there might be times that your kids get bored of probably seeing your faces or not being able to do anything. And then there might be times that you and your wife are like, oh, I wish we had a break from this. Does that happen? Is it natural?
Well, yeah, that's very true, and I think it's pretty much happening with everybody, and everybody wants to find an escape. And
exactly.
every now and then you're only getting these memes where, you know, you get these pictures where this guy with long ears, or probably a lady with long ears, and she's like, or probably the guy is like that, you know, after 2 weeks of coronavirus, listening to all of what your wife has to say or what wife has to listen to as well, on either way. But I think that, you know, there's this one thing which we have done beautiful, and it definitely makes us look forward to the other day as well, and that is working out. And so what I've done is, so whenever I'm working out, since I'm working out on my balcony as well, so I just leave my kids around me as well. So whatever, and then they have got these chalks. So what they can do is that they can do probably wall writings or probably draw on the floor. So whatever they want to do. One, this obviously is helping us quite a lot. And then, you know, since I'm working out, so I just make them do a little bit of whatever they can do as well. So that exhausts them. And then eventually after that, you know, everybody's got PlayStation, and then iPads are there. But yes, there are times for the younger one. You know, she's 1 year old, and alhamdulillah, she's hyperactive. So, you know, it's very hard to control her at times. But then she's looking for something. So you really need to know what she's looking for. Usually she's looking for something to eat. So whatever you are eating, you actually have to share it with her. And the rest,
That's sweet.
I think that mothers have done one thing wrong, and that is that they have let their children change their habit of sleeping on time.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that was the biggest mistake which parents have made, because they were like, okay, now nobody needs to go to school, so mothers were relaxed as well. If the kids would have been in the same routine, I think it would have been very easier, because, you know, online classes are going on, you know, everybody needs to study, everybody's doing these assignments, so there is a change in the shift.
Yeah.
And the change is such that now they're doing their homework at 10 in the night.
Right,
You know, so I think that for all those parents who've maintained the routine of their kids are the ones who feel blessed in these days as well. But for all of those
Absolutely.
parents who've disturbed the routine, please make sure that you
Fix it.
one way or the other fix it. But I don't think that it's going to get fixed until schools open up.
Well, I mean, there's hope, of course, and it's never too late as well. We don't know yet when schools are going to open.
Yeah.
In terms of my university, I mentioned, right, how we
Yes.
already got an email
Yep.
that maybe even the fall semester will be online. Not sure yet. So fingers crossed for that.
Yeah,
So
but I have a question for you
Okay,
too as well,
okay.
since you have asked me a question. So recently, alhamdulillah, you got married as well, and when people get married and when it's a newer union, they want to travel, they want to know each other more and more. So knowing that now you guys cannot travel, and you know everybody has got their own hopes that, you know, okay, this is something we're going to do after wedding, and this is something, and this is so exciting. So for all of what you planned, and now seeing that you cannot do it at least for a year, how do you feel, and then how do you guys cope up with that?
All right. So first of all, yes, we did, like any other person, we did plan a lot of things. We did plan a lot of trips and whatnot. That is off the table, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the thing. To be honest, we were a little sad about it, but if we, you know, get to look at the larger picture, it's for the better of us both and for the better of our families as well. And my better half, just by the way, is really so strict about this whole situation,
Okay.
the entire COVID-19 thingy. He's like, I don't care if you don't even, you know, get to go out for the next year. You have to be safe. So I think we're good with that. But to cope up with that, we are watching a lot of movies and shows.
That's
Really though. And you know, there's this one really cute movie actually we watched yesterday as well. I'm late with movies, so don't tell me that, you know, it was released a few months
Yeah,
back,
go
probably
ahead.
last year. It's Jojo Rabbit. I think you might have watched it. It's
I
so
haven't watched
cute.
it.
So for all the parents out there, watch it with your kids because it's so inspiring. It's funny as well, and it's really cute actually.
Well, I know it's very difficult to decide about films, especially when
Oh,
a husband and a
yeah.
wife actually sits together to watch a film.
He made me imagine in my 25 years of life. Oh, here it goes. Anyway, he made me watch the Batman series.
Really? What, you don't like it?
I don't want to say I don't like it, but I was never the person, man.
See, so I think you've answered the same question which you asked me myself as well, and you've told us that, you know, it gets a little difficult as well. So, you know, for somebody who just got married and they cannot decide over a film, imagine how life would be for other people who married for at least 10 years.
Right.
Well, it's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, I think,
Indeed.
and this is how everybody needs to take it. And there's a reason why we are actually indulged in this kind of conversation. And the reason is that, ladies and gentlemen, all of these calamities, all of these problems are side by side. You know, there comes happiness, and then we forget about whatever grievances we had. We forget about how worst our life was. And all of a sudden, we are all about all of that happiness as well. So I think that we need to keep up the morale, and we really need to share stories from people who have actually made sure that they're going to have an impact even in these times, and not even in these times, even when it was otherwise, they were making sure that they are going to transform themselves into somebody who can actually one day called as a leader.
Absolutely, Shazad. I do actually love your idea of, you know, being at home early in the morning, tuning into PTV World and watching inspiring stories. Well, that is what we're here for. So let's do it.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we've actually been joined by somebody who herself is a radio jockey for Suno FM 89.4. It's an ISPR governed radio channel, and everybody wants to be on that too as well. So kudos to ISPR as well. A great initiative. Always, you know, whenever you're working with ISPR, it feels like as if you are still at home. So this is one thing which needs to be given. Where credit is due, it's due. But this lady, ladies and gentlemen, was even she even got a scholarship. She went to USA. She's a youth leader. She's a social activist, and the list just keeps on going. So we're going to ask her one by one, how did she transform into the kind of person she is today, ladies and gentlemen, a youth leader herself, or a leader in the making. She's none other than Miss Mari Akbar. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum, Shazad and Shazad. It's such an energetic morning. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much for joining. It's wonderful to have you, but this is not how we're going to start a conversation with you.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to do the opening the way you do it on your radio show as well, and then we'll get started,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
So imagine you're at your radio station, you're about to get started with your radio show, this is your camera, imagine that this is your
Right.
mic, okay?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, so basically, my show is in local language. It's
Yeah, go
Gujarati.
ahead, speak
It's
the
okay.
local language.
Okay, sure. Assalamualaikum program pinjul gaon argas ka dor ngai ninti host mari ekbar program pita snaben pinjul of 89.4 ka or ngai ninti host mari ekbar diri ngatar gasha karon taminju और इतना नया नया ट्यूनिंग दुखजू और नया ना इतना कॉन्टेक्ट समझांगे इन दिरिंग जो है प्रोग्राम इनु ngani amber जो शिजाना शहजाद ngada khona kar taminju gasha karo.
Wow,
Wow, that was amazing. and
it
so
sounded
energetic
like
as
it
well.
was an entire program, but so this was, which language was it? Was it Baltistani?
It's Balti.
But
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's great. So what did you say? Can you please
It's
translate it for us?
that it's a wonderful morning, and today we have guests Shiza and Shehzad. We are going to
Wow.
talk a lot of wonderful things. Yeah.
I think one day, this is one thing we should do as well.
I know.
Yeah, let people ask us questions as well. So for
It's gonna be
example,
so much
Maria,
fun.
since you're a radio jockey, I'm taking advantage of it, and since I was a radio jockey once as well, what is that one question which you are going to ask me or Shiza? So imagine you're still on your radio show, okay, but now this time ask the question in English.
Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
my first question will be why you choose media.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, do I have to answer? Because I studied to be a journalist, to be honest, and then once I got into media, I, drifted away from journalism, and here I am.
Oh, well, that's great. And for me, ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. I was young, I was small, I was very small, I was 6 years old. And through the keyhole, I watched an entire film which my parents were watching since we weren't allowed in there.
Aw.
And it was a Sanjay Dutt film as well, so I became a Sanjay Dutt fan. And then from there
Was it
onwards...
Rocky?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Rocky.
Okay.
It was another film, but... And since then, I always just wanted to be on television, and whatever opportunity I got, I grabbed it, and here I am for the last
Great.
11 years, alhamdulillah. It's good.
No,
But now
that's
coming
nice.
back to
Yeah.
interviewing you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Maria, I'm going to assume that you're from Baltistan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, being from there and then coming to Islamabad, then getting away to, go to the US, become the cultural ambassador, run us through the entire story, and how do you feel about it?
I really feel great about it because I studied, till my intermediate in Gilgit-Baltistan in public school and college Kardu, and then I choose to be a leader and to be in administration field.
Okay.
So I choose business administration here in Pakistan, top rank university, which is Qaid-e-Azam University.
Right.
And I got admission on merit, and then
Excellent.
yes, and then from there I my mind grow vastly, and then I feel okay. I just don't need to get the degree. I need to because in hostel life you got a lot of time to do other activities.
Exactly.
So I involve myself in positive activities, which are co-curricular activities, and extracurricular activities as well, like debating, and then there's like many community service, organization as well. So like my weekends, there's never a weekend in my life. Like during my university, I just used to attend seminars or arrange something. Like there must be a fruitful activity.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after one semester, I got this idea that our youth is especially students are lacking the spirit of volunteerism in them, and they are not involved in community service. So I started my initiative, which is Make Ambition and Join Us.
Wow.
So we are basically lead by our own classroom students, and then we started it, and up till now in these 4 years we have arranged like around 30 successful events.
Wow,
Oh, wow.
that's great, and we're going to come back to events as well. But there's this one thing which I want everybody to listen to as well once again, because right in your conversation you said that when you went to Kansas, that's the time when you realize that it's not just studies and there's so much more to learn. And this is something which I keep on telling people as well, that when you travel, you learn a lot. But for you, it was a very different experience. Being in a university which first of all is not in your country, then surrounded by people who do not belong to the same race, gender,
Right.
or ethnicity as well, for that matter.
culture.
Yeah, or culture. But then, there's this one thing which I want to ask everybody, and that is, can you identify that one characteristic which you've picked up in your personality and is a positive one, but that university and those students will actually get the credit for that characteristic which you've adopted?
Yes, first of all, being in international school itself is, a tough task, because, and then being in from Pakistan as well, and then being in hijab.
Yeah.
There are, a lot of stereotypes attached to it, but what I learned is, compassion, and the act of acceptability, you say. And because there are a lot, every moment I have to answer their queries, and they're like, okay, why your hijab, why you don't put off your hijab, and there's like many questions
ask them
related
now,
to,
everybody's
yes.
in hijab now.
Yeah, there's like
right?
food as well,
Yeah.
They ask, why you don't eat this, and why, but because, as we are Muslims, so we have just an iman, and we just don't seek answers of, that minor questions, because, just,
Right.
it's by God, it's in Holy Quran, that's it, we just believe, and we just don't go in the philosophies. But when they ask, we realize, oh, we need to study a lot as well. So the one thing I learned from them is, being acceptable and, accepting themselves as well, because they are totally different from us, and then accepting who they are, and they are accepting, but later it comes from, a lot of conversation.
Exactly, I truly get it. So ladies and gentlemen, what she's trying to say is that the
Cultural harmony.
or the art of acceptance.
Yes,
Let's put it
diversity.
that way. And so I'm going to build up on this as well. For example, we talk about lockdowns these days as well, and it is very hard for a few people to accept that.
Exactly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, food is not under lockdown. You're having food at your place. Your parents are not. Your family members are not. You can still worship. You can watch television. All of these things are not under a lockdown. So, and it should always be a different perspective to look at things. If you're going to think, oh, everything's in a lockdown, what should we do? That's a problem. But, accepting it and then moving forward with whatever options you're left with, I think will actually help your life as well. Do you think that's true?
Exactly, that's
Which is
true.
why I'm going to ask you that this is one of those characteristics, art of accepting, which politicians have a lot or leaders have a lot. So you even got an Emerging Leader Award from the Pakistan US Alumni Network. What was it for?
Basically, it is to encourage us for all the community service we have done in past.
Yep.
So, for example, I have arranged many sessions on women empowerment as well, some self-defense training for female as well, and there's like we also arrange Ramzan drives, Rawalpindi, Islamabad as well. And then there's also we arrange career counseling sessions for students, and in Rawalpindi, Islamabad, we also arrange sessions with old age home and with the street children as well. So there's like a lot of community service, and there's like a competition, and we apply for it for the award, and then
Oh, that's amazing. And Maria, other than being a volunteer and being sort of a leader of all the things that mashallah you've been doing, you are a writer as well. And if I'm not wrong, you won a story writing competition nationally. Is that
Yes.
true?
Have you left behind anything, or you're doing all of these things
I guess
simultaneously?
during the degree, I have a lot of chance, to be in, some media as well, to, writing essays as well, and in like debate competition as well. So yeah, that's true. There's like competition on national level. There's like around 15 universities participated, and there's like 150 candidates. They all write essays on climate change.
Okay.
So I wrote the story on my village, which is Suhurse.
Yeah.
And that story got published, and and this there's like a whole book published on it, like shortlisting 30 stories, and it went to Paris Climate Conference as well.
Wow,
Yes.
amazing.
So it's basically the climate scenarios affecting each village of Pakistan.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
and thank you very much for saying that you have actually written something and won an award, which is very relevant these days as well.
Exactly.
Everybody talks about climate change, everybody talks about global warming as well. So let's just dig in a little as well. So whenever everybody talks about climate change, but this time around we've seen that when humans have stayed back
Exactly,
home,
exactly.
nature has turned out to be more beautiful.
Yes, if you
so do you
see-
think that it's not just all of those gases, it's not just all of that what we have been thinking, but it is actually normal human activity, day-to-day
Exactly.
activity which is affecting?
The natural system works by its own. For example, the trees, they fall and they grow again. But what are actually disturbing, that's the human activities. We are disturbing the natural climate. And when you see there's a report recently that says that ozone layer depletion is like coming to stop. That's how it works. So if you go into parks right now, this is all greenery, and just because we are not throwing trash around there, and we are not wasting a lot of water as well. So I guess it's all because
I
of
think a
human
lot of
activities.
water is wasted now these days, since
Yeah.
Now that
everybody is
everyone's
bored,
home, exactly.
everybody's just taking
But
showers,
trash,
long showers.
trash and all that, we are, you can say the consumption of resources, natural resources is lesser than this. And also, you say nowadays we can see the stars on sky.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
not
that's
happening,
beautiful. Yeah, I agree with you.
earlier.
I agree with you. That's just beautiful. And in terms of the ozone layer, though, I have to say over here, this is not because of COVID-19. It was a few years back that it started recreating itself. But Maria, I'm actually going to take you back to your village where you mentioned that you were inspired to write a climate change story about it. Let me know, first of all, is your family safe over there in terms of the COVID-19? And also, how's the lockdown over there? Are people like really observing it strictly?
Yeah, it's really great to share the news that our whole Baltistan region is free from COVID-19.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
yesterday
Congratulations on that.
thank you so much. There's like we have 160 cases over there, but specifically Skardu, and there are other districts who are like corona free now.
Right.
Yesterday we have got this news. So basically, what happened is that the immunity of the northern India's people, this is also strong, and more than that, people only restrict themselves and they stayed at home. They and there's a lot of lockdown as well, but everyone cooperated with the government as well.
That's
and
great.
then first of the most important is the doctors. They took care of the patient as well. There's one of the viral video on internet. You see the doctors dancing with the patient. That's
yes.
from Baltistan, and
Is it?
yeah, they
Oh,
are
wow.
celebrating that there's no more positive cases over
Yeah,
there.
well, that's great. And ladies and gentlemen, then at the same time, obviously, we definitely have to, send prayers out for all of those doctors who or
Exactly.
health workers who have actually been affected by coronavirus as well. And I think that everybody needs to pray for them. A lot of doctors. And this is something which I was thinking about yesterday, and I think that it needs to be proposed to the government as well, so that it can actually be applied. And that is that I think traveling in between provinces should actually be banned for a few days. Not even for longer, but I think people traveling from Sindh to Balochistan or Balochistan to Punjab or Punjab to Gilgit-Baltistan.
Right.
I think that the inter-provincial traveling should actually be banned for a few days. It's just a proposition, and I think that it will actually help to bring the graph down as well. But that's great.
Yeah.
But other than that, with all of that you're doing, these are all different hats. I mean, I'm very glad and I'm very amazed that somebody so young is actually taking up with so many different challenges. There's this one more platform which you have created with the name of Maju.
Yes.
And Make Ambition and Join Us. I think it's something of that sort as well. And it talks about volunteerism.
Yes.
And in these days, we see that there's this tiger force, a lot of people are volunteering. In every direction, you see people who want to help other people.
Yes.
And just by Imani se sab sar shar hai, so everybody wants to help. So, having done all of these things previously and then having this own platform where people can be ambitious and they come to you for volunteerism, how does it work? And whose idea was it, and who was the one behind it?
Basically, it was my and my colleague idea. He's Junaid as well. So we both started this initiative back in 2015. Currently, in this COVID-19 pandemic, we are working. We have built a wall of kindness. So we are hanging food packages over there.
That's nice.
Because then going into searching for the
Needy
needy people, and then going in giving them, and they are really into that. Don't take pictures as well. There's also there's issue, but what we did is like we built a wall of kindness, and there everyone came and then hang food packages.
That's
so
nice.
The one who are deserving, they took from there.
And where is this wall of kindness?
It's in Skardu.
It's in Skardu.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
amazing.
working and
Yes,
it's
it's
operational
working. Yes,
even now.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
That's
So
amazing.
this is one thing which you've done. One more thing which I would love to ask, and that is that we've spoken about how volunteers can get to you as well, and that there's a lot of work, there's a lot of charity work you guys are doing, social service. So specifically in particular, speaking about how COVID-19 has actually had an impact on the entire globe, what are you guys doing to help other people?
Yeah. So first of all, we giving awareness. This is the most important thing, because if you go into far-flung villages, we see that they're not taking it seriously. So first of all, providing them the right awareness, and providing with the mask as well. So this is the most important, and then guiding them that don't interact with people coming from international countries as well. So we are spreading awareness as well, and apart from that, we are also providing some rations as well. And so we do a lot of we collect our own pocket money, and then arrange something, and if there's a donor as well, so we buy some food packages and distribute it as well. So we are doing like giving masks freely and spreading awareness as well.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing, Maria. And because you know why, right now, awareness is the key.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much to your entire team for supporting you as well. So towards the end of this segment, being a student, I want you to talk to all your fellow students out there, inspire them to be the best version of themselves.
Yes. So I must say that students, there are a lot of opportunities for you, and it's just that you click the right opportunity at the right time. So I want to mention some scholarships over here. That the first is for undergraduate students who are in BS and who are currently in your third, fifth, or sixth semester. They can apply for a global exchange program, which is a U grade. So this global undergraduate exchange program. So it's one of the easiest the scholarship you can apply for. And after you graduate from your BS degree, you can apply for Fulbright scholarship, and there's Erasmus as well for Europe, and if you want to go to USA, it's Fulbright scholarship.
Yeah, wonderful that is. Thank you very much for letting people know as well. But very quickly, before we go for a short break and say thank you to you, I would actually want to learn something in Balti language as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we say we're going for a short break and we will be right back in
Okay.
Balti language? You have to teach us. You have to teach
Okay,
us.
sure. So we will say that hum, for you say we, it's ngantang.
Yeah, yeah. Nantan.
So ja rahe hain is like going yotpin.
Nantan going pat. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Say it for us. Let's
You can say it
take
for
a
us
break,
as well.
okay?
But ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen, once we'll be back after a short break, we'll actually have somebody who's going to let us know what kind of dietary habits we have to pick up on in these days as well, since we are all sticking to our couches and beds as well. So yeah,
Being a
what
couch
different can
potato.
we do? Please go ahead.
Ngatang ko ni pin short break chikala break ibala ngata wapas ang yung anti program yu tura jari agaju.
Let's do it. After the break. Good morning.
Good morning.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मैं सबसे पहले तो सारे जितने भी हमारे कोरोना रिलीफ टाइगर्स जिन्होंने रजिस्टर किया है, मैं आप सबको का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं अपनी कौम की तरफ से, और आपको खराज तहसीन पेश करता हूं कि इस मुश्किल वक्त में आपने फ़ैसला किया कि आप हमारे साथ मिल के ये जहाद लड़ेंगे। अब तक 8.5 लाख मेंबर्स बन चुके हैं, और हम चाहते हैं कि ये मज़ीद और हमारे मेंबर्स बढ़ें। तो 10 से हमने 15 अप्रैल को आखिरी डेट रखी है। हमारी कोशिश ये है कि जो हेल्थ वर्कर्स हैं, नर्सेज, डॉक्टर्स, जिनका भी कोई भी तजर्बा है हेल्थ के अंदर, मेडिसिन के अंदर, मैं चाहता हूँ कि वो हमारे साथ रजिस्टर करें, क्योंकि इंशाअल्लाह अगर जिस तरह हमारी फोर्स बनती जा रही है, तो जो भी आगे मुश्किलात आएंगी, जो हमें पता है आएंगी मुश्किलात, तो इंशाअल्लाह हमें सारी टाइगर फोर्स, सारी कौम मिल के, हमारी फ़ौज, हमारी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, ब्यूरोक्रेसी, सब मिल के इसका मुकाबला करेंगे। तो आपके पास 15 अप्रैल है, तब तक सब रजिस्टर करें।
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, on a very pleasant Monday morning with Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi.
Yeah.
And today, well, we tried to bring some inspiring stories for you earlier in the first segment. Right now, Shahzad, you know, ever since we are in the lockdown, a lot of us, almost 90% of us, are actually avoiding food from outside, you know, deliveries and takeaways and whatnot. If you are a food lover like we are, Shahzad and I think it's really hard to control, but then you have to work out a sort of a, you know, routine or a menu for your own home as well.
Yeah.
And if you have kids, you have to keep them engaged in terms of, you know, creating fun things for them to eat and then probably sometimes to bake as well. There are just so many things that you can do, but I think it's very apt to have the right person to talk about it.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we since we're short on time, so I think we're not going to have a lot of conversation because me and she's are very habitual of talking a lot.
I know, right?
So we're going to directly jump onto the guest as well, and it's because of the fact so that we can actually take out all of that information which is very relevant for people who are out there as well. So for all of those people who are at homes, we'll actually be telling you or letting you know what kind of dietary habits you need to adopt to. God forbid, you know, there are people with underlying medical conditions as well. There are people with cholesterol, there are people with hypertension, diabetes and all.
And generally low immunity.
Yeah, and low immunity as well. So we're going to talk about that. And to do this, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually invited somebody who's a public health nutritionist at Human Development Foundation. She's none other than Ms. Fatima Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Sange jine khairam barabar.
Khaima, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. So first things first, what have you observed so far where people are going wrong, you know, talking about their dietary habits?
Yeah.
So basically, ever since COVID has come along, this pandemic has taken the world down, and obviously it's gotten people locked down in their houses and basically just eating. Everybody is just eating anything and everything that comes in front of them.
Yeah.
And
It's me, I'm one of them.
me
I've
too.
had 3 pizzas in like a week's time.
That is bad.
Yeah.
So as far as you said that ordering out, first of all, I'd like to clarify this, that COVID is not a foodborne disease. It cannot be caused by eating any food. As far as we all know, and research says that it is a respiratory disease and it is not caused by food.
And this microbe itself is actually dead. It needs to acquire other cells, so there's no other cells in food anyways. Yeah, but you know, that's true. Thank you very much for saying that. But you know, since everybody's ordering and you've said it, but I've seen a lot of people going to bazaar like twice, thrice or 4 times in a day as well. And I think that this is a problem with household women, that they cannot remember all the things. As soon as you get something, you get back home, oh, beta, dahi to rahi gaya. You know, so how do you think that we can minimize our trips to bazaar?
Bilkul. So you should minimize your trips to grocery stores and the supermarket because they are very infected, all these places, because millions of people come in and go out every day. Things are transferred, all the supplies and everything, so you are more vulnerable to the virus when you're in a place like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you should plan your meals a week ahead. On Monday, sit down, make a list and think what you want to have for the entire week.
Yeah.
Lunch, breakfast, dinner. And make a list and buy groceries for the entire week on your Monday or on your Sunday. So plan a week ahead. That will help you minimize your trips to the grocery store.
Right.
And not
Well, if you still
binge
have to
eat
go- yeah.
and order out also.
That's amazing. Now, Fatma, I'm going to take you back to what you said, where you said the favorite part of the day, my favorite part of the day, that it's okay and it's safe to actually order food. So my belief is, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong and just tell me the details of it. So my belief is that there's no way COVID-19 is going to get onto food, because even if a germ does get onto food, if you cook it / bake it, it's going to kill, right? I mean, there's a lot of heat. So I just eat anything without even thinking twice. Is it true?
Yes, heat. If you heat or reheat your food or leftovers or any food that you get delivered, if you microwave it for a minute or 30 seconds, even if you do think that there is some germ on it, it will die.
gonna
And
kill- oh,
yes, and your
perfect.
food will be safe to eat. But the bag that your food comes in, just discard the bag,
yeah.
the paper
Yeah.
bag, and just
And even the box.
discard the box and the box and put it in your own plate.
Right,
And
right.
that's what I also say to people when you go for groceries. Take your own bags from your house. If you're going to the tandoor, take your own kapda ghar se, instead of
Right.
taking it from the tandoor, the
Yeah.
rakhbar. So like
Right.
try doing these small things. It'll help you maintain hygiene.
All right, now Fatma, you tell me, you live with your family, mashallah. So when a family lives together, of course, there are some people who might be doing some things like Shazad and I were discussing in the show
All of a sudden,
earlier.
Shiza is all about families today.
Why
all
not?
of a sudden, why not?
Because everyone is locked down with their families now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So most of the people.
It's all right.
Yeah. So my question is, there might be some habits of your family members in terms of eating or, going out that bother you, especially being a public health nutritionist, because you know, like probably all the right things. So what are some of those things, and how do you correct them, or how do you tell them that, hey, this is not safe?
First of all, there's no routine. There's
Oh.
no routine for breakfast, no routine for lunch or dinner. Relatively, my family still tends to have dinner at a reasonable time, but
Okay.
breakfast is like 1 p.m. So that's
Brunch.
pathetic.
Yeah.
No, it's not brunch. There's lunch after that at
Oh.
3. So there's a
Right.
lot of food that's going on, and I feel like mid-evening snacking, pakoras, French fries, fried items, all these things, they
Chili
are.
garlic sauce. Ooh.
Yes, so people lately, now that people are at their homes and they're cooking, people tend to make more comfort foods than healthy foods.
Oh,
Nobody's
yeah.
making a salad. I haven't seen anybody make an IGTV video for
oh
making
yeah, I
a
will do
salad.
it today on my blog.
I just see people making lasagna, brownies, cakes. So I would say that if you're making something, try and choose healthy options, and instead of focusing on comfort foods, go towards healthy foods.
And what are the options? And I'll just add on to that as well, even though I had something else to share, but okay, what kind of foods do you think we need to consume? And since everybody's talking about boosting their own immunity system as well, so how do you think we can do that? Obviously, everybody's taking those CSC 1000 vitamin C capsules, everybody's taking these medicines, or probably multivitamins as well to boost their immunity, but does it really help? And which foods can actually help us boost our immunity?
Okay, so that's a good question. A lot of people think that vitamin C fights COVID-19. It does not. That is a myth.
Really?
Oh, thank you so much
Vitamin
for
C.
busting them. You
Really?
really
Yes,
did that.
vitamin
I've been
C.
having orange juice and whatnot, and
You've been boosting your immunity.
okay.
Cheers to that, and hence helping your body fight the virus.
Yeah.
But vitamin C, vitamin D, or any other micronutrient helps boost your immunity, which hence makes your immune system stronger, and then you can fight the virus in a better way.
Okay.
Okay.
There are things out there in the market available naturally and synthetically produced which help you boost your immunity.
All right.
So there are natural fruits that you can use: lemon, oranges, green chilies, tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower,
Okay.
kalonji, also known as
Black
nigella
seed.
seeds,
Yeah.
black
Right,
seeds.
right.
So these are some things that are naturally out there that help you boost your immunity, and they're rich in vitamin C. And other than that, if you do not have those, and if you are someone who's very lazy and doesn't want to eat healthy, so you can always have CSC 1000. You can have 1 tablet per day, and it'll help you keep your vitamin C levels
It makes me
optimal.
feel like as if I'm having a juice, and I have it during a workout as well, which is great. But since you mentioned so many food items, I know, Shiza, that you've got a question as well. Do you think that sleeping a lot actually has an impact on your immunity as well, or do you think that sleeping a lot can actually be a problem?
So basically, one thing that I'll tell you, it's not just your food that boosts your immunity. There are a few factors that boost your immunity.
Yep.
One of which is adequate sleep and to have a proper routine.
Yep.
When you disturb your entire routine, you disturb your brain rhythms, and which in turn produce hormones that make you feel anxious, give you stress, demotivated, which people are literally feeling like that. So wake up on time, have your meals on time, sleep on time, and by sleeping enough, I don't mean sleep at 4 a.m. and wake up at 3 p.m. I mean sleep at 11 and then wake up by 9.
Yeah, you
So-
don't want your mom to abuse you, because mothers don't abuse. So if you go to sleep from 4 at night till 3 in the morning, I think your mothers will be like, "Beta, तूने पैदा होके हम पे क्या ही एहसान किया?" Please don't do that.
Right, yeah, I agree with you, Fatma. I think, yes, there are certain hours of sleep that you should fulfill. But on your natural cycle, I mean, you can't just overturn your cycle just because of the vacations that you're
but
having.
is it 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours?
Depends.
The
6
right
to 8
sleep?
is average that your brain needs to function properly. Sorry, you're the expert here. Go on.
Minimum 6 hours.
Yeah.
But that is the sleep that you get at night. You can't compensate the sleep of the day for that 6
Really?
hours. Yes.
Right. The
Yes.
natural cycle. Okay, now Fatma, I was going to ask. So I don't know if you're watching in the beginning. Shazad was sharing his, sort of tips on how to stay active at home, of working out. There are a lot of people who used to go to the gym, can't go anymore, cannot, be in, let's say, in contact with their nutritionist anymore. I want you to give us some tips in terms of exercise and fitness that people can do at home.
Okay. So first of all, I'd say exercise is not something for everybody, and people are not all about, oh my god, I'm going to exercise today.
Yeah.
So first of all, you can start with changing your eating habits. As far as exercise is concerned, the internet is full of videos.
Right.
You're just a button away to get all types of workouts where you need no equipment, no weights, nothing, and you just need to spare 15, 20 or 30 minutes.
That's true.
Ideal is that you spare 30 minutes 5 times a week and you exercise at home. If you're a beginner, do not go crazy and start doing exercises that are not for beginners, because
Yeah.
you'll get muscle sprains and you won't be able to sleep at night or even like climb up and
Yeah.
down the stairs.
Yeah, and you know, talking about these muscle pains, ladies and gentlemen, since this is one of the symptoms in COVID-19 as well, so you really do not want to do that. Because, you know, even when I work out these days, and my workout is very intense, you know, so that I stay in shape. So every now and then I do get these body aches as well, and then I'm like, okay, I hope that it's not that.
There's this one way through which you can curb the pain.
Sure.
As soon as you're done with your workout, you should have a post-workout meal, and it should preferably be banana, or you can have a source of protein. So it helps you replenish your muscles and your muscle energy.
Wow.
All right, that's brilliant. Now, Fatma, I'm going to ask a very important question, which is, I think, relevant to all the Pakistanis out there, especially caffeine addiction. A lot of people are on to chai and coffee. And now that everyone is at
And look
home...
who's talking about it.
Yeah, I am. I'm literally addicted to coffee.
And she's made
Now
me addicted, or to get addicted to coffee as well. Imagine it's summers and I'm having a cup of coffee early in the morning. It's like you're sweating.
I know, that's what I was about to say. So here's the thing, now that we're home all the time. So there are at least 3 to 4 cups of chai/coffee for whoever likes what. Is that healthy, first of all? If it's not, what should we be doing?
2 cups is healthy.
Okay-ish,
Not
okay.
healthy. I mean, 2 cups is
Fine.
2 cups is good.
Okay.
Anything that exceeds 2 cups, then you need to make sure that for every cup of coffee you drink 2 glasses of water, so that you're
Oh.
not dehydrated.
All right, well,
Oh,
that's
wow,
great.
perfect.
So, okay, let's talk about the size of that cup as well, because the cup she was holding today was this big. It was a liter mug. So,
Oh, no.
what is the right quantity of having coffee? I mean, what is the definition of the right cup? Sippy cup? I mean, what kind of cup?
Like a
are we-
teacup.
Okay, a teacup. Well, that's fine. Thank you very much for saying that. But with that, I've got one more important thing to ask, and that is that a lot of people these days, my nephew, he works out with me. You know, obviously we are social distancing, but you know, he's on to getting abs and everything, so he's avoiding sugar. So twice or thrice I've seen him that he'll get like a little dizzy, and then he'll complain about headaches as well. So how do you think that not consuming sugar will have an impact on your health as well? A little sugar, I think everybody needs it, right?
Of course, sugar everybody needs, but you get sugar from a lot
Fruits
of
as well.
sources.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates is
No,
sugar.
but he wasn't having sugar at all. So, you know, he made sure that, you know, whatever he's eating, he's making sure that
He
there's
wasn't
less-
having carbohydrates,
No.
which is wrong.
So, no
when
rice, no, you know.
So always have a healthy balanced diet, and by healthy balanced diet I say eat foods from all food groups. Do not exclude any food
Okay.
group, because that harms your body. And yeah, so you can't exclude anything, but as far as salt is concerned,
Yep.
cut down on your salt.
All right. So,
All
so
right.
that's good as well, ladies and gentlemen. But very quickly, because in case, you know, we might not have asked it, so let me just put it this way. What are the most common mistakes people are making in terms of their health during this lockdown when they're at homes?
Oh, at home.
Smoking being one.
Yeah, so a few things that we should actually take care of is not smoke, sleep,
Yep.
eat healthy. I'm repeating, but I wanted to put it out there. One more thing, people go out these days, if you go out in Islamabad, you see pura Islamabad walk karne, like, you know,
Road, yeah.
everybody's walking. No, people who've never walked are like walking. It's okay, go out, walk your dog, but make sure you keep a distance of 6 feet.
Yes.
Wear a mask.
Yes.
And make sure when you come home, you change your clothes, you wash your hands before, you know, getting along with your family. Even if you're in your house, try and maintain distance, like in your lounge, where you're all sitting together, because you don't know if someone's infected or not.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and drug abuse. Yeah, you should
Oh,
also
of
avoid that. I'm
course.
sorry, but I have to put it out there
No,
that people
definitely.
who do drug abuse are very vulnerable and have a weak immunity.
Exactly, and thank you very
Absolutely.
much for saying that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is that particular group of people who are actually more prone towards getting, you know, different kind of thoughts as well, or you're losing their mental stability. But speaking about all of Islamabad is walking, so yes, that's very true, and I think I'm going to share my experience as well. So
Yeah, do
every
it.
day, this is one thing after the workout I look forward to. At 5 o'clock, I'll take out my bike, wear my mask, all my kit, and then just go for a ride. And you know, it's so beautiful to see people walking. I know honestly that it's a very different experience altogether. You know, so many people just walking. And,
like Glasgow.
and yeah, and they're talking, everybody's wearing gloves, everybody's wearing their masks, somebody's riding a bike. It just feels like as if all of a sudden that, you know, we are a very developed nation and we looked after our health all of these years as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for all the information that you gave out, Fatma. I hope to have you back soon. And, well, good luck with, you know, staying at home. Stay safe as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, we try to bring all the right kind of information and knowledge to you. We love to do that. But, Shahzad, you know, one thing, since you were mentioning how beautiful it is to look at all the people who go out to walk and just, you know, breathe fresh air. Yes, it's very much fun. But one thing I came across, I absolutely hated coming across it. Sorry to use the word hate, but I'll tell you what it was. So, well, you know, even with the advent of COVID-19, beggars are on the roads. You know it. No one's going back home. Of course, maybe some of them are in need. I'm not going to judge. So here's the thing. If they keep knocking on your, you know, window, on your car window, and you just slide it down a little to give out whatever you want to help them, they raid your window. They exploit you, like they push it down and they want to enter your car. Oh, mujhe ye chahiye, mujhe. It's just that I'm trying to be safe for myself. I'm trying to be safe for you with, you know, just putting the window down a little. I'm still trying to help you. Please be responsible. I know this message may not get to them, of course. But it's just that, I mean, if someone is trying to be responsible, then the other person should, well,
But I think
replicate.
that the same message actually applies onto the people who are inside the car as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you're more prone to getting this disease as well. It's not that anybody outside the car or inside the car, you know, it can come from anywhere.
That's
or
what I'm
you can
saying.
give it to that poor chap as well. But not just that. I think that there's one more thing for people to understand, and that is that everybody is giving out ration bags as well. I mean, for the total amount of people who are actually giving out ration bags, I don't think that there must be anybody, or
Who's
there
left.
might be anybody who's left. So I
Yeah.
think people are actually
That's
looking for money at the same time. I've seen a lot of videos where people are going back to the shops and they're like that we have got hundreds of kgs of ration in our home, now we want to trade it for shampoo. I think that's great. So please make sure that you do not put yourself at risk, or do not put the other person who's actually asking for money at risk as well, because you might never know that you're the one spreading the virus too. So
yeah.
please make sure don't do that, and if you have to do it, you know, there are particular ways to do it as well. There are people who are wearing their PPEs, going out and giving cash, and that too have resulted in a very bad thing, and it's because of the fact that I've seen people beating other people who actually came to give them donations too as well. So yeah, just be very careful. And if in days to come, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to provide these people with the things they need, they're actually going to raid your houses and they're actually going to raid your cars as well. So be prepared for them. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that on a larger scale, we need to do something for all of these.
Absolutely. But the good thing is, Shahzad, the crime rate all around the globe has declined amidst
obviously.
COVID-19. So, well, I mean, that's good news. But then again, you really don't have to be locked up to, you know, reduce the crime rate. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything you need to write, do you have something to say?
Fatma wanted to add.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say that everybody's going out doing philanthropy acts and everybody's giving ration packs, but instead of doing it yourself, I think you should do it through a channel. Do not do it yourself, do not create crowds, and that will, because you yourself will not be able to manage it. So reach out to the district authorities and let them do it.
Absolutely. That's brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. If you learned anything from us, please write to us to let us know on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning on your television screens.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion.
On Daily Motion, ladies and gentlemen, it's World This Morning. On YouTube, it's PTV World, and you'll have to search for the program name. Well, it's the most viewed, so yeah, you'll get it.
Absolutely. And the repeat, you can catch
5 past
at
11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.